An elimination final in round 19. Let that sink in. So, Saturday Arvo, Collingwood take on Hawthorn, and if you had told me that this was an elimination final, even 4 weeks ago, I would have. It's just, I don't know. It's just crazy to think that this literally is an 8-point game. It's an elimination final. That is what it is. Like, we're 12th, Hawthorn are 13th. We are 2 games away from third place or second place or whatever it is, which is crazy to think. 1 game from the top 8, but so are so many other teams from 13th to second. It's absolutely nuts. This has been such a tight season so far, and Collingwood are just not doing themselves any favours. Like, we should be sitting pretty in the top 8, but we're not. And here we are, getting ready for a finals game in round 19. Hawthorn, our bogey side. How fitting is it that we come up to a super important game against our bogey side? The heat is on. Like, I know, you know, this video is probably going to be just a bunch of cliches because, and just like, oh, no shit, Sherlock sort of things, because the heat is absolutely on Collingwood at the moment. Anything less than a win is, the fans will riot. Anything less than a win, I feel. You know, the Geelong game, the thing with the Geelong game was, it was better than our last couple of games have been. Gold Coast, like I said, we played well for a little bit. Essendon, we played well for a little bit. The Geelong game, we played well for most of it, and then we came unstuck. I think we're progressing as well as we can be at the moment. But in saying that, we need to start putting the runs on the board, and we could have probably beaten Geelong, you know, if we really wanted to, because obviously we really wanted to. But you could see what Geelong were doing. We just didn't have any plan Bs or plan Cs, and if we had those, it could have gone a long way, because the Geelong just copied Essendon's playbook, and I have no doubt in my mind that Hawthorn are going to play this chip around, keepings off game that the last couple of teams have played against us. Now, the thing about this chipping around and keepings off game is, it doesn't really hurt you if they're just sort of going around their defensive zone, just going left to right. What it does hurt you is when they break free from that pack, and it's kind of like they're just loading their gun, and as soon as they hit, they just go, and we're too slow. Our defenders, for some reason, they just can't go with them. That puts pressure on our midfielders just can't go with them. Then that puts pressure on our defenders. Then, we see Darcy Moore being out of position. Braden Maynard has to play on Jeremy Cameron. There was no Jeremy Howe last week. So, and Billy Frampton as well. So, there's a lot of things that need to go right for us from this game onwards. And it all starts with this Hawthorn game, where we know what's gone wrong. We know where we need to get better. It's that putting that pressure up. It's those fundamentals. It's hitting targets. It's, I said it last week, Collingwood have evolved too much. And I know injuries play a part in it. Maybe we'll make another video for injuries a bit later. But where is our trust in one another? Where is our running from half-back game? And I know we're playing a forward half game at the moment, so we've gone a little bit away from that running half-back game. But if it's not broke, if it's not broke, it doesn't need fixing, right? So go back to that running half-back game. Maybe put Nick Dacos in as a half-back. I know we need him in the midfield, but maybe put him at half-back for a little bit, and let Jack Crisp and Jordan De Goey pull their finger out and keep going. Like, Jordan De Goey needs another big game. He disappeared a little bit these last couple of weeks. He needs a big game. I know he's coming back from that injury. He needs to go in, needs to hit it hard. Same with Jack Crisp at the moment. Nick Dacos, we need a good user from half-back. Nick Dacos is the guy. Isaac Quaynor just can't do it at the moment anymore. He's down on form. Darcy Moore can't do it at the moment. He's down on form. So maybe we do put Nick Dacos into that half-back line, and we get our half-back game going. Because at the moment, these guys are just gaining territory. They're getting the ball, smashing it on their boot, and it's coming back down, and then that's more pressure. If you watch the game last week, there's so many instances where we could get into the corridor if we wanted to. We could chip it, 15 meters into someone in front of us if we wanted to. And we would have previously, even earlier on in the year, we were doing that. But now we've gone away from that. Now it's sort of like territory ball. Just get it as long as you can, and I hope one of our players can run onto it. But that's just not working, and something needs to change drastically. And I think that big change is putting Nick Dacos to the half-back line. Now, Hawthorn took on Fremantle last week. They won. It was a very good win. Sicily goes up forward, does a very good job. I think they bring in, what's his name, McGuinness again to tag Nick Dacos. He's been doing good in the VFL. Of course, they're going to tag Nick Dacos. We know what happened last time they tagged Nick Dacos with Finn McGuinness, and Dacos broke. Was it a broken knee or something like that? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. When we played them in Gather Round, we had all the momentum. Last quarter, they just absolutely came back. The thing with the Hawthorn is they're so exciting. They're so young. They're full of run. They've got this pep in their step. Even though they lost their first 5 games, they're a chance to make finals. And what better way to make finals than knocking us off our perch? And it is going to be an absolutely insanely close game, I feel. Hawthorn are just going to bring it right up to us like they did against Fremantle. Now, we talked a little bit about what Collingwood need to do. I would love to see McStay straight back into the team. If you watch my VFL review, he did well in the VFL. Put him straight back in. Jeremy Howe comes straight back into this team. Mason Cox, if he's ready to go, comes straight back into this team. I'd love to do a video separate just with talking about Mason Cox and what he brings to this team. He's never going to be that 3-4 goal forward, but what he does structurally for us is so important. And opposition supporters who don't watch our games all the time will just scoff and laugh at that. So, Mason Cox, blah, 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 blah. Mason Cox is just so important to the structure of the team, and he gives us a target down forward. He gives us a target on the wing when he's sort of manning up there to take the mark. He chops out Darcy Cameron, so Darcy Cameron can float down back a little bit, because apparently Darcy Cameron's our best intercept marker at the moment. So these 3 guys structurally do so much for us, and McStay gives us a big forward target to hit, which is nice. And we know that Lockie Schultz comes out with a concussion. I dare say a couple of other people will sort of come out as well, if we're to bring those 3 guys in. This might be, going into the Hawthorn game, it might be our strongest team on paper for the last 8 weeks, maybe? 8 weeks. Remember, Jamie Elliott came back last week. It's just about getting that synergy, getting that connection up, because it's just not there at the moment. It's just not there at the moment. This game is also won and lost in the middle. We saw that with Geelong last week, where they scored 4 or 5 goals from centre clearances. We just couldn't get it. Darcy Cameron had about 70 hit-outs, none to advantage sort of thing. And Geelong were sharking him. Geelong were going from the centre scoring. They smashed us in centre clearances. If you look at Hawthorn's game last week against Fremantle, they did really well in the centre. They did really well in their clearances. I think Connor Nash, what did he have? 7 clearances for the day, 13 contested possessions. So they're very good in the centre now. So that's something that we've got to watch out for as well. And that's putting the onus on Jack Crisp, Jordan Goey, Scott Pendlebury. He looked a little bit slow, but Pendlebury's never been fast anyway. So there's these guys that just need to click. And if it's not this week that they click, I don't fucking know when it's going to be. And it's starting to get... If I'm getting frustrated, that's when, I try and keep a calm head when I'm doing reviews and previews and all this stuff. But it's starting to get very frustrating now, because I know the injuries have happened. I know all this. I know X, Y, and Z. But now this should be our strongest team on the park in like 8 weeks. And we should come out and not smash the Hawthorn, but we should come out and win. My big calls and predictions. I think Cox comes in, kicks 2 goals. I think Ginnivan kicks 3 or 4 goals. I just have a feeling. And my prediction is Collingwood by 14 points. I say that without any conviction, because I'm very scared of this game. But, the thing is, when you're pushed back against the wall so much and there's no exit, the only thing you can do is fight your way through. And that's Hawthorn, that's Richmond, that's Carlton, Brisbane, and Carlton, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, these next 6 weeks, or whatever that sort of lineup is. We'll do a video looking at our run home soon. So it's going to be just an intense game at a perfect time, Saturday afternoon. I want to see that these guys want it. Like, I want to see the hunger back. We can make finals still, 100%. 100% we can make finals. We're only 2 games out. We can make finals still. Some of these guys need to take a long, hard look at themselves and back themselves in. I'm talking Darcy Moore. I'm talking Isaac Quain or Jordan De Goey, Crispy at the moment, Bobby Hill. There's a lot of people that have been really down on their numbers, and we know that that's not them. So we know that there's ceiling. There's no ceiling. They can improve, and there's that little improvement. I said a couple of weeks ago, that is this toxic positivity that we are at our lowest of lows at the moment, and there is a way up. We can see that light. We're starting to see it, and I hope in this Hawthorn game everything starts to click, and we see the Collingwood of I was gonna say of old, like last year, but we even saw some of that uh, in the middle of this season as well, where we were winning games and not and drawing game stuff, but we were seeing that fast sort of high paced, great Collingwood football, brand of football that we just haven't seen these last few weeks. So hopefully it comes out against the Hawks on Saturday. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I've put a couple of videos out recently, the Ginnivan and Schultz one, the Graham Wright one. Go watch those. Would appreciate it. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and I'll see you next time. Double shackers. I'll swoop you later.